Man, man, oh man, oh man. How many times have I tried to make this video? It's been like 6 or 7 times. And I gotten onto this like long tangent. I felt like I made some really like great in the moment points, and then I said something that felt off and decided to delete that video. But anyways, I'm back after a few days. It's been quite a while since felt like quite a while. It's been a few days since I recorded a video. I wanted to respond to a couple of comments. There's Empty Red Cloud. I wanted to say, thanks for the support, and I wish you good fortune, in the future with this whole Nofap business. Other than that, I think I wanted to sort of like comment a little bit further on some of the stuff I've said recently, because I think you kind of made sort of mention of sorts of some of the stuff, or made reference to it, talking about the media and sort of one's state of mind in relation to them and that sort of deal. Maybe this will seem a bit rushed because I feel like I am repeating myself, even though I haven't I didn't upload my previous attempt at recording this video. So anyways, I think my big idea from all of that was like just sort of like figuring out, for one thing, what really matters, what really makes a difference, and focusing in on that. So much of my problem with topics like politics as defined by other people, religion defined defined by other people, maybe not just other people, but like certain figures, or you might call them the powers that be, or influencers, or whatever, or any of these other issues, really, socio-cultural issues. It's like a lot of this has to honestly do with like a conversation I had with a certain family member, like I think it was about a week ago now. But the whole idea, or the whole question, the question of like, what really matters, what really makes a difference, is this worth getting angry, frustrated, sad, depressed about? Is this worth firing off your mouth? Is this worth getting involved with this, that, and the other? That whole idea, that was a large part of it. But also just this idea that like you have maybe 70 to 80 years on this earth. It's not a lot of time in the grand scheme of things. And attention, which represents time and energy and money and so on, and sanity, is sort of this currency that these different figures and organizations are all competing over. And so much of what we see out there is just like rage bait, and it doesn't matter which ideology you identify with which end of the spectrum you happen to sit on. You have these groups out there, organizations and so on, who will put out the most, like, people have terms like clickbait, or like I've used the term rage bait. They're most rage baity, sort of stuff out there, and they want you to, they want your viewership, they want your time, your attention. They want you to get all bent out of shape about whatever it is they're telling you is supposedly going on in the world. And 9 times out of 10, for you as an individual, in my opinion, as an individual, the stuff they want you to get so concerned about and so bent out of shape about, it doesn't freaking matter. mean, there's the stuff that is going on in the world that is like so much larger than a single individual. It's like you could try and get involved all you want to, but you're not going to make a difference. You're not going to change anything. And you're going to waste time and resources that you'll never get back. And you could end up destroying your life in an instant, you know? And it'll be over stuff that did not freaking matter. You know, the stuff that we're told to care about, be concerned about, get angry about, what have you, it doesn't make a difference. And it's all this stuff that has no real substance or weight to it. And you know, for the sake of mental health, you know, and some of those things that, you know, I've had to do, it's almost like, you know, turning off the TV. I don't even have a TV really. And controlling what sort of news sources I go to. Sometimes even taking a break from those ones to focus on other stuff. Not completely cutting myself off from the outside world, but controlling that. Yeah, and besides, like, I think another thing is, it's probably a bigger, you know, if people were to ask me for, like, you know, advice or something, or ask me for my perspective on this, I'd say that, in addition, developing the kind of framework where you're able to sort of process events without getting all bent out of shape. You know, it's almost like learning how to code in a certain programming language, and then you can kind of look at different programs written in that language, and since you understand the basic syntax, and let's say you understand the libraries that, you know, are used for those applications, and you can kind of figure out what the code is, you know, doing or what it's asking for. That sort of a deal. You know, being able to process that logically and rationally without being emotionally invested in it, which is probably another thing. You know, becoming less and less emotionally invested in the outside world and being more, you know, invested in yourself. And maybe that's a lot of what, like, Rolo and a lot of the other red pill folks, you know, they talk about when it comes to, like, a mental point of origin and solipsism. You know, sort of asking the question of, like, why should I care about this stuff? Why should I be invested in it? Where should my time and energy be going towards to be the most effective? You know? Because for me, it's like I could be spending an hour on that Python boot camp, getting as many lessons knocked out as I can, you know, in an hour. Or I could be spending that hour on, you know, some website, or, you know, watching some news, you know, getting all raged out about something that, in truth, doesn't matter at all. Makes no freaking difference. Or I could spend that hour working out. Or I could spend that hour reading a book. Could just be some work of literature, you know. Could be a work on philosophy. Could be something on spirituality or history or, you know, science or mathematics or whatever, you know. And that hour spent on that sort of stuff would be far more useful, to be far more effective than getting ticked off about what some politician did or said, or what some celebrity, you know, said on some social media website or whatever. Especially when you understand that most of that stuff is just like, there's no substance behind it, there's no reality to it. It's just said or done for attention, or said or done to sort of placate X, Y, Z groups with meaningless banter. And, you know, truth is, the vast majority of the major stuff going on in the world, it's like so far beyond you as an individual that it's just, you know, it's a waste. It's a waste to be putting your time and energy toward that sort of stuff. And understanding things from that sort of angle and not being emotionally invested in it, you know, like if you look at things through sort of a red pill lens, which to me does tie a lot in with Nofap, you sort of realize that, I mean, realize a lot of things. Let's just put it that way. But one of the things is that, you know, you're almost like expected to get emotionally invested in a process, a structure, a system that is very much convinced that it, you know, that it does not need you, or on the extreme opposite end, that you might just be even viewed as a threat or as an impediment, you know, as competition or something like that, you know. And if you think about, like, right in the middle is probably where you're viewed as being the useful idiot, the disposable utility or commodity, you know. And these would be the same people who want you to get so angry and so bent out of shape and so, you know, invested in and involved with, and even to the point of physically doing something really stupid, you know, not to mention, you know, illegal, immoral, what have you, and end up throwing away your life, throwing away your time, your energy, what have you, to you know, various degrees. I mean, throwing away your life would be the extreme, but you realize that it's not something worth fighting over or fighting for, and really, you should be focusing in on the things that affect you. You know, it should be like, you know, you become your own mental point of origin, to use Rollo's expression, and look at things from the angle of, how is this going to help me? How is this going to change my life? And if you want to bring Nofap into consideration, well, look at it like this. Yet again, like I said in the past, you know, your success with Nofap being a sort of a barometer for, or an indication of how well you're handling your life. How about working on things that make your life better so that life becomes easier to handle? You know? Get your money right, get your health right, advance your education, advance your career, get into better shape, learn social skills, you know, all these different things. And you know, your laundry list of stuff that you consider important or necessary will probably be different than mine. But whatever those are, you know, it's far better to focus your time and energy in on those sorts of things. And dovetailing off of that, I wanted to respond to, since I think I've, you know, covered that other topic, you know, enough, I wanted to respond to Drug Magician's latest comment, and say, you know, I know about Corey Wayne. I think I've known about him since, like, I think it was like 2013 or 2014. It might have been 2015. And watch his videos. He makes a lot of great points, but I don't think it's not Corey Wayne, it's not Rollo, it's not these other folks. It's like, it's not on them. You know, for one thing, I had to say that if we're talking about, you know, the perennial topic of how to get the girls or getting successful with the girls, for one thing, success with women, and this is something that, you know, I mean, I've heard other people say it, but I also have, I feel like I also have enough experience, you know, being on so the opposite of a lot of abuse from these women. I did say that, for one thing, success with women is a lagging indicator. It's something that happens after you succeed in all these other parts of your life. That's for one thing. Another thing is that, no dating coach, no relationship expert is really going to fix the problem of a lack of genuine desire. If the girl don't feel that way about you, nothing you say or do is really going to change that. So I suppose, a lot of dating advice, relationship stuff, all that, it's really all about, okay, does this girl have genuine desire for you? Okay, you can check that box off? Okay, you can check that box off. Okay, here's how not to do or say something that's going to make her lose that genuine desire for you. So like, be more attractive. Don't be, and don't be unattractive. It's basically almost like as simple as that. But man, I just kind of don't care. At least not in a direct sense. Like on some level, I do care because I still have desire for women. I can see an attractive woman walking on the street and be like, you get distracted by her because I'm a dude. But I just kind of don't really care. I have all these other concerns that I'm facing as someone in his mid-30s, and I've also had enough experience with like being in a context where I could be given the greatest advice and I could be acting on it on my own end. But if you have a bunch of, and I know Dark Magician knows about these folks because he was definitely there when I was dealing with a lot of this stuff. Like, what was it, 2 or 3 years ago? 2, 3. 3 to 4 years ago. But if you're in a sort of context where there's a bunch of basically, you can call them betas or gammas or omegas, whatever. A bunch of those other guys who, there's no way in heck they're gonna get the girl, but they'll figure out ways to essentially sabotage your efforts and make you look like trash in front of her, such that if she did have genuine desire, even if you were doing everything right, she'll lose that interest because she'll lose respect for you, and where they can like figure out ways to trigger certain behaviors in you to make you look bad to her and that sort of thing. There's a lot of, for one thing, there's a lot of other factors out there that are not in your control. And on top of that, even the things that are in your control, it's kind of like, to sort of return back to the lagging indicator expression. Reality is that it's almost like you have to become so overwhelmingly successful that that you can kind of put yourself in contexts where, not that you're guaranteed to succeed, but that the odds are so much in your favor that even if some guy did try to come along and, what's the expression, AMOG you, that he wouldn't succeed, And that brings things even full circle, I think, even more full circle, and completely back to my whole point of figuring out what really matters, what's really going to change your life, what's really going to make your life better and easier to handle, and so on, and focusing in on that. Because it's like what most people define as politics, what most people define as religion, the whole issue of getting the girls. It's like, it's not like that stuff doesn't matter, 100%. There are aspects that can be defined as or understood as mattering on some level, but even the aspects that could, or the form of those issues or topics or whatever that could matter, they only matter after the fact. And after the fact meaning when you're capable of doing something about them. When you put yourself in the kind of position where not only can you affect things, but putting yourself in a position where the odds are stacked in your favor. Unless you've done that, there's really no point to at least in my opinion. People can disagree with me all they want to. I mean, I know there are guys out there who have that it factor where they got so much game that, they can get the girl, even if they're broke, or they can change the world or whatever, even if they have nothing to their name. But for most of us, myself included, it's really only after the fact. After you succeed at all these other things, after you've built something, after you've built yourself up, after you've gotten yourself into shape, after you turned your education around, your finances around, your career, has been taken to that next level, whatever, after the fact. So you got to work on other things. You got to figure out what those are, what really matters, what's really important, where your time and energy really should be going, and put that time and energy towards those things. So, anyways, that's it for me right now. As far as Nofap is concerned, if you can't really, tell, I did have what I would call a relapse. I mean, basically, and I'm saying this, these are the things I've said. I still feel that they are true. Still see them as true, even in light of the recent relapse. In large part because whether you're on Nofap or not, life doesn't stop. But essentially what happened was, this is sort of me finishing this up and bringing it back to sort of reality, I guess you could say. Having gone off on these philosophical tangents, but essentially I got a call from the recruiter, and he was kind of giving the indication that that company was kind of waffling back and forth as to whether or not they wanted to have me back again. And I felt kind of bad about it. Ended up talking to my folks. That's what it really wasn't that great news to be giving them. But I ended up, doing that, PMOing, and I don't know. I'm gonna try and take things easy. I fell off my diet, trying to get back on that, but I'm gonna try to take things easy and keep working on the stuff that I'm working on, even with the fact that I'm on 0 days of Nofap, and what else? Yeah, I'm just gonna keep working on that sort of stuff, because like I said, that's the stuff that will make a difference in the long run. It'll make my life easier to handle, which will not only have the effect of making Nofap easier for me. And one other thing I will say, and sort of a interesting observation I had last couple of days, because I've been feeling pretty messed up. Excuse me, a lot of back pain, shoulder pain, chest pain, heartburn, that sort of stuff, and then headaches. Obviously feeling dehydrated, having really funky dreams, just weird dreams, not necessarily even of a sexual nature. And I sort of realized, that this is probably the closest I've ever felt. Whenever I've had a PMO relapse and gone through all that, it's sort of been my equivalent of a hangover. Feeling a hungover, and I think I kind of I realized that not just because of the sensations I've been feeling, but because of and I was watching some video clips from a actual movie, not PMO clips, but these were like from a actual movie, and the character was like hung over. And I think somebody put like a comment like, "Oh, imagine you had this, you know, huge bender, and then you gotta like wake up to hearing this guy preach to you about whatever." I think it was from There Will Be Blood. But man, like, wow, this is what a hangover feels like, huh? Probably. And then all the little tips and tricks people have for, oh, here's how you recover, you know, that sort of thing. But it's kind of interesting and kind of funny, because especially what I felt like, you know, like every time I think, oh, you know, I just gotta sleep this off. It's like, dude, that's what that's what people do when they have hangovers. You know, a lot of times it's just the whole like, oh, luckily it's a Saturday, you know, I woke up hungover, but I could just go sleep it off, you know, and then wanting to just sleep for the entire day, and you wake up and then you feel better at that point. But you know, so many times I'll wake up and I'll just want to go back to sleep right away. You know, almost like enjoy being in the dream world, and more so than I'll enjoy being in the real world. You know, like, what's your hobby? Oh, you know, sleeping. But yeah, that was sort of an interesting observation, or you know, at least interesting to me. Almost kind of like funny to me that it'd be like, oh, we'll talk about being hungover or having a bender or whatever. It's like, you know, a bender for them is like a binge session for us, you know, and you know, feeling hungover is like, what would it be like for us? It'd be like the chaser effect for us, you know. For them, it would be like being hungover, really a chaser effect for us, or you know, the effects of a Nofap relapse, or you know, that sort of thing. And then sort of the neurochemical reset that occurs when you actually get back on, you know, on Nofap. So, anyways, approaching half an hour. I don't have more to say. I want to go get some food, maybe take a nap, and then probably get up and knock out some more Python. So, anyways, I will see you folks around. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.